I'm originally from Poland. I'm an educator, an artist, and I also run Strix, which is an artist-run space and a gallery. It was opened in 2012, just after I graduated from a fine art course in Margaret Street in Birmingham. We initially opened the space for artists to work in as a studio, but it soon changed into, it developed, and there was a need for showing the work that people were producing, so we started partitioning the space. The space is really, really big, so there was enough space to create studios and exhibition space. Like I said, Strix is created of individual practitioners. We all work there and produce art. We focus in on collaboration a lot, so we seek to work with artists from the region and nationally as well. Within the last 4 years, we have worked with many organizations, artistic organizations within the region, and artists, not only fine artists, but also musicians and creatives from other fields. But we are not only about showing art. We are very much about creating relationships and creating conversations, making the community work for artists and for other people. So we love seeing smiley faces, we love seeing happy people, and we like to have people in, not only to look at art, but to make connections and to enjoy themselves. And as you see, it works. There's lots of hacks going on. Yeah. Like I said, we kind of try to create opportunities internally and externally. So internally, we have created 10 studio spaces where we have 10 artists continuously working and developing their practices. They have 24-hour access to studio spaces and all bits and bobs that come with it. So that's just how the whole space looks like. The studio spaces are here and here, and we have the exhibition space around here, dark rooms, and the workshop. We host a variety of practices. There is many different artists that produce different works, and we very much, like I said, about conversations. So we do group crits, and we allow them to use the project space whenever they need to try their work out. And we also host a studio holders exhibition once a year where they can show their work to public, which is really important, I think. Externally, and this is what I run as the director and the founder of Strix, is a soup residency project, which we opened it in 2015. I started thinking about it in early stages of opening of the exhibition, I mean the studio. But because we are non-funded space, we have no funding from Arts Council or anywhere else, it was quite a challenge, I think, to prepare a residency program that would allow artists to come in and develop their work without giving them money. So what we thought that what we can do is give them space, give them time, give them resources that we already have within the space, and show them. So artists who participate in Strix residency program have opportunities to show their work on 3 public events during DB First Fridays, where we gather about between 100 and 200 viewers per night, which is allowing them to show their work to people within the industry already. This residency is directed onto emerging artists and help them to develop their practices. The first one started in May 2015. The theme was feminism. It was curated. The events are not curated in the meaning of that word, as that artists don't have to complete their work. We help them to show it, but there's no expectation for them to produce a finished piece for each show. So the first one is usually we introduce the artist to the public. The second one is a curated open studio in which they show their work in progress. And then the third one is a culminative show during which they show the public what they produced during the 8 weeks. In the first one we had Lucy Hutchinson, Emily Mulenga and Demi Nandra. I prepared some info because I don't remember everything about everyone. Lucy works, she explores ideas of cultural identity, self-representation and authenticity. She was awarded the New Arts West Midlands Award in, I think, 2015 or 14, I don't remember now. Emily Mulenga, a video artist, self-representation, and she uses her self-image as a tool, works with green screen and produces videos, game-like videos with her person being like a little bit like Sims almost, where her persona is doing things. And Demi Nandra, working with various approaches to art, very interdisciplinary artist. Focuses, I think, now on performance, and being in SUP residency allowed her that platform. And after that, she was invited to many more events showing her work. And I was looking at her website yesterday, and it says that she was awarded the 2016-17 Flying Solo commissioned by Contract Manchester, and her solo show will be developed and shown at Flying Solo Festival in 2017. And she's not the only artist who, thanks to SUP residency, were able to push their practice and their artistic career further. And I'll show you some work that they created during their residency. So that's Demi, and this one. She's challenging. Her work is always about things that are not very pleasant, disgusting things that nobody wants to talk about. She's also interested in mental health. That's Lucy. At the moment, she's collaborating with Antonio Roberts. I don't know whether you've heard of him. She has developed for the residency. She was looking at anonymity within the online space and the internet, and she developed an app that causes your face to be anonymous somehow within an online network. And that's Emily Mulenga. Oops, sorry, there was another one. So a little video screenshot of things that she makes. The second residency, very much interdisciplinary. I strongly believe in collaboration, and I really, as an educator, believe that people should share their skills, should learn from others, and that's how I like to work. That's why I like Strix to be for people and about sharing. We've invited 8 artists this time, and it was very crowded, but it was very, very great. busy space for 8 weeks, which makes me extremely happy. We had Felicity Barrow, Oscar Akas Dawish, Jane Hay, David Paul, Sister, which is a collective of 2 people, Tadas Stawiga, David Stanley, and Catherine Wade. And all of them worked together on developing their own individual practices, but also the shows that they were involved in. Again, a few shots from the exhibitions. That's Tadas. Tadas is interested in space and light and sound, and his work is about how the practice affects the space, and he's also looking at working in the same space as spectators are experiencing his work. So for his final show, he made a piece called Tadas Makes Coffee, and he was making coffee for people using contact mics, so that it was creating a very, very awful sound, but he was making a very good coffee. So David, video installations. He actually he's been out of very much within creative industry, but not as a practicing artist. He works as a designer, a producer for videos, for musicians, and designing album covers. But he very much wanted to get back into his own practice. So he used those 8 weeks to rediscover what he's about. Felicity, a performance artist, so she believes that there are magical things happening around us, so through her work, she really wants to show that to the audience. Very much emotionally charged performances and fun. She was bouncing on a little trampoline for about 20 minutes, so but it was really cool. Sister collective, they're interested in architecture, brutalism, love Birmingham because of that, and created videos and utopian spaces. They changed our dark room into a living room where they forced the viewer to experience the work that they created on the screen. Jane Hay, interested in what's around us, observed buildings in Digbeth and Birmingham, created huge scale drawings, and a video was projected on top of them. And David Paul, he's a filmmaker. During the residency, he wanted to find how he can challenge the traditional filmmaking and patterns and industry. And he created something very playful, using simple computer program, a little effigy of him on a digital one, and people could make this little person do what they were doing. So it was plugged into a computer, and whatever you was doing, the little thing on the screen was doing too, which was very popular. Look, that's how people were experiencing this particular piece. Oscar, creating almost virtual realities. He's interested in creating fusion between reality and the unreal. And now the most current one, Soup 3. Because the interdisciplinary theme was very popular, and I enjoyed it very much as a person who worked closely with the artists throughout the 8 weeks. I've decided to carry on that theme, and we had 6 artists this time: Johnny Gordon, Megan de Grief, Raquel McCartney, Chuma Martin, Duncan Poulton, and Gavin Rogers. Megan, she's a set designer, and she makes prosthetics. She creates performances that other people perform. She never does her own work. So it's very interesting how people experience it, because everyone, after every performance, people think that the actress that is hired to do those performances is the artist, but they never are. Johnny, video installation, he's very interested in film and Western especially. He used an image of his mum, life-size image of his mum, to drive around a little toy train around the gallery, and he created the whole set with cactus and birds and all sorts of stuff like that. Raquel, she has created an installation with regards to refugees. She collected those clothes throughout the whole residency, and then pinned them together with glowing-in-the-dark pins. So when you switch the light off, it was completely dark. You could only see almost like star constellations. And then she donated all of those clothes to refugee camps after the residency. That's Raquel ironing the clothes, performing in... Her work is very much so about her experiences in life, and it's durational. She's a mother, she's running a home apart from being an artist. So I think her kids are young, so she's exploring that area of her life at the moment. Duncan, video artist, finds videos that nobody's interested in, so YouTube videos that maybe have 2 or 3 views, and then he changes them, and he's interested in mythology, so somehow he collects other people's work and creates those stories. Very interesting and quite gory looking as well. Gavin, he's an educator and artist. He's interested in psychogeography, and his works are challenging the life that we live in now, so money, the food that we eat, all the cool stuff that people do now. He created sushi. He said that sitting at the train station, he sees those cool people stuffing themselves with sushi, which was cooked in probably pots and pans covered in Teflon or whatever. Then it's really interesting, really a lot of humor in his work, but touching very, very serious subject matters. And Chuma, originally from Spain, he's a true nomad. I don't think he, in his adult life, spent more than a year in one country. So his practice is very much so depending on the country that he's in and what he can produce there. Very, very interesting person. He explores the surrounding and his own person whilst traveling the world. He's gone now, he's not in Birmingham anymore, he's now God knows where. And I don't know whether you are creatives or artists, but we have a SOUP Part 4 coming in 2017. We'll be deciding on the deadline for submissions in January 2017, but I'm guessing the residency will commence around May 2017. So, just to summarize, coming here to the UK, never thought I would be involved in so many projects with so many different people. I teach, I work with people with learning disabilities, and I run striks allowing young artists or emerging artists to develop their career, creating opportunities for other people. It would be great to see your faces in the gallery for a hug or a smile or a chat. We open every Digbe First Friday, and also some of the exhibitions are open on Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays. Please have a look at our website or Facebook, find us on Twitter, and yeah, come and visit us. Thanks.